Like notes through the hourglass, these are the songs of our lives.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Songs for Our Lives. I am Brad Rose. I'm an artist, composer, a writer, the founder of Foxy, Digitalis, and someone who thinks about music and sound far more than is healthy. Each week I invite on a guest to talk about the songs and the music that has meant a lot to them and left its mark. Previous guests include Tony Rolando, Leah Bertucci, Brett Nauke, Sarah Bell Reed, Leia, so many more. So many more. This week, I am really excited to have Walker Farrell on the show. Walker is someone who I knew of in a totally other capacity before I ever knew of his music. I guess first I'm going to mention he has a new album out called Crocus that is on Ceremony of Seasons, which is the awesome label out of Asheville that does seasonal releases, so on the equinox or the solstice, and they are paired with wine. I mean, that's cool. It's run by Tim Gormley, who was on the show early on, who's one of the co-founders of Burial Beer Company, and Ritual Wine, all that stuff. So there's a whole lot of connections here. A lot of I'm really glad Walker is on the show, and it feels like there's this like all these things that happened in the past. It was like this was bound to happen. So like before even the podcast, I knew Walker's. He's done videos so he works at Make Noise, and he's done a lot of their YouTube videos, and his videos on the tape and microsound machine, specifically doing stuff with Morphogene, basically made me go in debt. No, I mean, I'm not in debt, but you know, those were really formative and helpful to me. And then, you know, I discovered his music, and then this record came out on, you know, Ceremony Seasons, a label that I love. And this all just felt like serendipity, and it was time to ask Walker to come on the show. And yeah, we had a really good time. The album Crocus is out now. It is really good. It, you know, it's this sort of like first moments of spring feeling. And when I first heard it, which was about a month ago, it was really I mean, it's still resonating, but that was kind of happening here, which is way too early in February. But because now it's, you know, mid to late March, and it's been in the 90s the last week. So that's a whole other thing. But Crocus is, God, it's it really captures that spirit, and it's so just like listenable and enjoyable, and also deep in the, you know, there's so much going on with it, but it never feels overwhelming. It's a hell of a record. And yeah, so this episode was a lot of fun. Walker made me a full convert on something that I never saw coming, but we'll get to that when you listen to the show. So yeah, I hope you all enjoy it. My guest today is a musician, a composer, a synthesist. I've used that twice in a row in the past 2 weeks. And someone who is probably as much responsible for me finally spending way too much money and building a modular synth as anyone. It's Walker Farrell. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Yeah. Those tape and microsound videos from years ago were, yeah. Thank you, and I'm mad at you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay, so you got a new album, Crocus, is out on March 20th on Ceremony of Seasons. Shout out to Tim Gormley, friend of the show. I guess, how did you first get involved with Ceremony of Seasons? Like many of your Make Noise compatriots, I guess.
Yeah, I heard about it when. Well, I might have even known about it with the very first release, which was Ross Gentry. Looking back, but I know for sure that it came onto my radar when Tony Rolando did a release on there, and I remember this idea that it was a soundtrack to wine that was intriguing to me. And I listened to his release, and he had a lot of like pouring water or liquid sounds going on in it. Yeah. And it sounded to me like wine in a barrel or something, and just it was interesting straight away of like this like multi-sensory combination of audio and flavor or
Right.
whatever. So that's and I've been following ever since.
Did you know what the pairing would be before? Like, how does that work? I don't know if that's like trade secrets here from.
It is. Then I'm giving it away. We'll have to talk about later. No, I was. So Tim, I guess you asked me how I got involved in it. Tim approached me at last spring's event because I'd been to a few of these record releases. Not only are they just something I was interested in, but as you'd mentioned, several of my people who I have worked with and other people I know have done releases on there, and there's usually some kind of release event involved that's right at the solstice or equinox.
Right.
So I was at the spring one last year, and Tim approached me to see if I would like to do one. And spring, I jumped on spring, which is my favorite season. So
okay, nice.
And it was really not till we were pretty far into the process that Tim started pitching ideas for what the drink was going to be. I wonder if maybe he was more starting from the drink early on when he was doing it, and as time has gone on, now he's sort of more letting the music happen and then see what he's got in his botanical stable when it gets closer.
Right.
But when I told him that I was going to name it Crocus, which was an image, the image of the crocus as the first flower of spring was what came to mind for me as sort of a guiding image for the season. And he jumped on that because crocus is that flower is the source for saffron, which is a very sought after spice. And also the one of the key ingredients in Strega, which is an Italian liqueur. And of course there is kind of that name has a connection to Make Noise too.
Right.
So I was like, all right, go for it. Saffron, something that's looking very, very saffron colored coming up here.
That's cool. Okay, I didn't know. Like, I've used saffron before, of course. I didn't realize. I don't think I knew it was in crocus flower. Okay, and I was going to ask like where crocus came from, but it's your favorite, so that makes sense.
It was an image that the idea of the first flower of spring kind of smashing out of the snow and the ice was the guiding image for the whole record.
So as you're composing, writing this record, this for spring, like what in your mind, like what does spring sound like to you, and how did you go about translating that into actual compositions?
I was kind of just thinking of the first things growing when it's been a dark, desolate, cold, wet, gray, whatever all your worst stereotypes of winter are,
Right.
And I like winter too, but by the time it's over, you're really ready for it to be over a lot of times. At least I am.
Yes.
And so that first crocus coming out of the snow was my key image to start, and then I just started thinking about like what else would happen inside of a garden as the spring is beginning. Things are starting buds are starting to show up, grass is starting to kind of poke through, little creatures are moving again, and everything. There's all kinds of activity and life happening, and the sun shining through and sort of helping bring the life to everything. And the more that I was working on it, the more I thought I started envisioning myself as like some tiny, tiny little creature, like somebody like, that like an eighth of an inch tall, standing with, so everything that happens, a flower blooming is like this giant thing that's 5 times my size.
Yeah.
And I just sort of like tried to like take that energy of what that experience would be like for that person and played it to what you'd hear or see. Yeah.
That reminds me of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which very one of my favorite movies as a kid for that precise reason of like these blades of grass. And, I just thought that was those were such cool images.
Great. Yeah, definitely. That was a favorite of mine as a kid too. Yeah.
And I do think, like, hearing you describe it, there is, to me, when I listen to it, there is this sort of emergent quality throughout, like the way the songs kind of unfold and stuff. So
Mhm.
that connection to spring feels very, yeah, no, that's awesome. Did having that sort of like working within that constraint of a specific season, did that like feel restrictive or limiting, or did it open up something creatively?
I think it was more the latter in this
Yeah.
case. I think, it's the limitation breeding creativity is a cliche that isn't always true for me, but in this case it was. I had some other limitations too, because I was, we have at my basement got flooded during Hurricane Helene, and I haven't put it really back together yet. And that's where I kept all my gear and recording stuff. And that had happened pretty recently before I was tasked to start working on this. So I've been kind of using a much smaller setup with really just like one instrument attached at a time to record, and it means a lot more like overdubs at different times, which means a different way of working. And so I thought of it, I did a lot of like composing of melodies long ahead of the actual recording of it, which is not usually the way that I work. So
yeah,
but I liked the results. I might do it some more.
Yeah, that's cool. Did your gear survive?
When I saw that, there was a point during the hurricane where, or really it was the days and days of heavy rain that led up to the hurricane for us. There was a point where I kind of realized there was no way we weren't going to get flooded. And it was we'd been sort of trying to stem the flow for days. And at that point I said, all right, time to take a break from shop vacking and start moving stuff to safety. Yeah. And so I didn't lose any gear. I lost some records. That
sucks, but yeah, that's,
it's all right. A lot of people lost a lot more than we did.
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
Man. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, no, I really like the record. I keep calling it a record. It's a record. Everything's a record to me.
It's all a record. Thanks. I do like it.
And I have no great segue here, so we're just going to jump into the songs now.
Start talking about the songs. All right.
And so, as always, I'm going to start with, what is the first song that you remember?
Yeah. So for me, it is So What by Miles Davis. The first track, when Kind of Blue, which, I mean, I don't know if it's actually the first song I remember, but it's the first song I remember listening to with thorough attention.
Yeah.
The reason is that it was an insomniac soother for me. I had a real hard time falling asleep when I was a kid, and my parents gave me a cassette player with a dubbed cassette of Kind of Blue that was my sort of soothing balm to listen to while I was unable to sleep. And it was something to focus my mind. And so I listened just really, really intently, and kind of allowed the music to be my whole experience of what was happening there. I didn't have any language for it at the time, or I didn't know who was playing. Right. But there were elements of it that the way that all the interplay of the instruments came together, and the way the lines are shaped and stuff, was the first time I really listened in that kind of way to music. And I think it kind of set the tone for a lot of how I would listen to music going forward.
That's really, wow. That's amazing. That's awesome. Yeah. I think there's something, I'm not saying anything groundbreaking here, but like things that always blows my mind about Kind of Blue in general is how it's so virtuosic, but so accessible at the same time.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me how it exists. So yeah, I can only imagine like having that as a sort of formative thing. Man, I didn't hear.
Something to hear like how if one, say, Coltrane plays a lick in his solo, and then the comping that Bill Evans is doing behind kind of like echoes a little piece that he did, and they're just listening to each other in that moment and reacting. And my mind started to piece that together in a way that I really hadn't with other music up to that point. Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's awesome. All right. Well, what is a song that either makes you cry, or if it doesn't like actually make you cry, it makes you feel some kind of way, that kind of way?
Okay, we're still on Coltrane then, because
Okay.
I picked Afro Blue from Live at Birdland, where he's playing the soprano sax, and it opens with he plays the head, and then it goes into about like maybe 5 or 6 minute long McCoy Tyner piano solo, which is full of like these big block chords on this like 3/4 vamp that just keeps building and building and building till it's like this thunderous, just like gigantic rising up. And right as it's at the absolute peak, Coltrane comes back in on the soprano with like the highest note you could possibly get in this like wail from the soul that just completely overcomes me every time. I've heard it 100 times. Every single time I can't handle it.
Yeah, that's I think this was I was trying to piece this all together. So the first jazz CD thing I ever owned, I was working a shitty retail job and became friends with one of the stockroom guys. And for my birthday, he gave me a Blue Train CD. That was like my introduction to so I think this was like the third CD I ever, like jazz CD I ever bought. Like I would go to, I don't know where you grew up. I don't know if you had Borders there, if you remember Borders. But
we
Borders.
did, yeah. I grew up in Indianapolis, Indiana. We had Borders where like, we got stuff, yeah.
That was, Borders was like formative. And so I would just go and pick out random CDs. But I know exactly what you're talking about, because it's it's like God smiling on you or something. It's so intense.
Yes.
What a that whole record is incredible, but that moment,
it's insane.
Well, what's a song that will put you in a better mood?
A song that will put me in a better mood is "Moment of Truth" by Gang Starr.
Oh man,
which is a it's a very, very, traditionally created 3-verse with hooks hip hop track from the East Coast 90s era. But with each verse, Guru starts from kind of a place where he's down on his luck and it feels like the world's against him. And then in the second verse, he kind of starts to appreciate like where he's at in his life and the hard work that's got him there, and how he's gonna just like keep putting his head down and working hard. And then the third verse is like, I'm gonna slay all these sucker MCs, but it builds up to that in this way that, when I was young, it got me through it helped me get through some tough times. It did. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the I would put on when I was feeling down on my luck.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I kind of wondered if this was going to be your pick for like the objectively greatest song of all time, because I think that's the case. But it's like so good, because like in DJ Premier's beat is so good. Like the strings and that piano. Oh God, and he
stretches in like bits of pieces from old Gang Starr tracks on the hooks, which is something he usually did, but on this one in particular, it's a different one on each hook. So that he's kind of like mining the past of this very group, and it's very thematically appropriate,
Yeah, I feel like it adds it makes it feel like more, I don't know, it kind of adds to the gravity of the whole thing, maybe is the way to say it. But
definitely.
Amazing song. Well, okay, if it's not Moment of Truth, what is objectively the greatest song of all time?
You mentioned this was a weird question, and it was a tough one to really decide on, but I had to pick something. I picked Bop Gun, Endangered Species by Parliament.
I do think, and this is in my notes, you can make a real solid case that Parliament and like Funkadelic is the greatest band of all time. So
yeah, and they figured, well, we can't be the greatest funk band and the greatest rock band at once, but actually we can. We can just pick 2 bands and they'll both be the greatest.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think that this track is just it's got everything, because it's almost like you're at a circus or a carnival. Like
Yes.
You know, your like focus and field of vision moves from one place to another. Here comes this chant. Here comes that chant. Here comes this melody. Here comes that bass line.
Yep.
They're all like weaving together in different combinations. The whole way that it's like it's like the ultimate dance song of like, it's sci-fi, but it's the whole point of it is like, we're gonna solve all the problems by just getting everybody to dance. It's very positive, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
Bop Gun, yeah.
It's you know, I mean, in the year 2026, maybe that would solve a lot of our problems. Just get everybody to fucking dance. But yeah, that's the thing I love about it too, is how there's so much going on and it all works together, but then you can listen to this 100 times and hear 100 different things and follow different like stories or something in there. And Glenn Goyne's voice sounds so good. Like
and this chant of "I got to get over the hump," which is like the human condition in a nutshell. And then it does this fade out at the end and a fade
and then it comes back.
Yes. We're still going. Like, it's not going to stop. Yeah.
Right. I imagine, this song is just like playing somewhere in the ether and you just tap in every once in a while.
Right. You know, it's being transmitted through like every galaxy out there. You know?
Yeah. And that works well for like the sub question part of that. Is like, if you were going to show this in Alien, it's like, man, Alien's already heard this because it's out there.
The fact that you brought up the aliens definitely, I think that guided my answer a little bit. My runner-up was "Life on Mars" by David Bowie. That's also a space-oriented song.
God, I love Parliament. Oh, I just love all of it so much. All right, well, what is the song that you used to love, but you heard it recently, or you think about it now, and it doesn't quite do it for you, at least the way it used to?
That would be, and I'm not sure if this actually has a proper way to pronounce it, but Icct Hedral by Aphex Twin. When I first heard it, it blew my mind that somebody was doing like electronic dance adjacent electronic music that was like classical music at the same time.
Right.
And that was almost like something that I had like wanted to do myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I was 15 or something. I didn't know it.
Sure.
I didn't do anything. But the fact that existed was mind blowing to me. And also like the way that it has a lot of percussion sounds that are like not made as drum sounds.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, it's like filter sweeps on synths that are made to be snares and stuff. And
right.
Yeah. I mean, that was mind blowing to me at the time. When I hear it now, it feels a lot less mind blowing. It feels like a lesser Aphex track. It feels like it feels kind of a little, and I think that Philip Glass ended up doing a rendition of it. And
really?
Or somehow Philip Glass was involved in one of those cuts on that record. I Care Because You Do, and it has kind of like an also ran Philip Glass feel to it to me at this point.
Yeah,
it's one of the very few Aphex tracks that haven't aged well for me. So
yeah, no, that was I agree. Like a lot of Aphex stuff I listen to, I'm like, how is this 30 years old? But this, it's like, yeah, okay, it feels a little dated.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what is a song that most people, some group of people, I don't know who they are, but people absolutely hate it? You don't care, you love it anyway.
Okay, I don't know if people hate it, but it may be dismissed, and that would be by the Crash Test Dummies.
Yes, this is okay. I was telling you at the beginning, I think before, like that there was a song here. I wasn't even going to listen to this because I was like, I know this. I don't care. And I was like, no, I'll listen to it. This is kind of amazing, actually.
Okay, I've got a convert.
It is like, I mean, it's so absurd and morbid and strange. And then the instrumentation is like, it's lush, and just how this was a top 10 hit. Man, like, I guess, yeah, the 90s were weird, or early 2000s. I don't remember exactly when this came out, but
you could get a top 10 hit with what was basically a novelty song at the time.
Yeah.
Even if you weren't Weird Al, which is extra weird because Weird Al then parodied this song.
Right.
It could have been a Weird Al song to begin with.
Right.
The record that this came from, we owned a copy of it in my family, and we listened to it, the whole album, many, many times. It's all like this. It's like it sounds like absurdist, like Shel Silverstein type, like poetry about, why is the world so absurd, and why do I have like 10 fingers and stuff like these sort of like childish but like deep existential questions, soundtracked by like the most lush session musicians ever.
Yeah,
it shouldn't exist, and it's amazing. And I think almost nobody even remembers it aside from as a laugh.
Yeah, no, that was me. I remembered it as a laugh, and then and I'm glad that I was like, no, I listened to everything. I will listen to it, and I was just like, dang, what? Yeah, I mean, and this came out when I was a teenager, probably, so I didn't get the nuance of it, perhaps, but it's a really fucked up song, but it's
twisted too. Yeah,
but it's beautiful, and so I was hoping that was the pick for this, because that was it. Yeah, I'm with you. Everybody else is wrong.
All right, I got to convert.
Okay, I guess first, for the next question, do you think of yourself as a romantic?
I think I do. Yeah, I think I do.
Okay, what then is the most romantic song?
I chose "You're My Best Friend" by Queen.
Yeah,
it's a song of pure joy, and I do think that the romance of like actual extended period happiness is underrepresented musically and culturally, and this is simply a very heartfelt ode to like being with somebody and continuing to love them for a long time, and it's beautiful. I've been married for 23 years now, and this is like one of those songs I think about that embodies that, because it's I won't go. I could go off on a whole tangent, but nobody wants to hear that. That's what we're here for. But
nobody wants to hear me like wax philosophical about choosing to love your partner every day. But anyway,
you might want to hear Freddie Mercury do that, though.
Absolutely, and the beautiful harmonies in the song. God, the harmonies! I forgot how good the rest of the harmonies are. Oh, what a song! What a song! All right, what is the song that changed your perspective on an artist, either for better or for worse?
For me, in this case, this song changed it for the better. It's Untitled 8 by Kendrick Lamar off of Untitled Unmastered, which was kind of almost like a throwaway release.
Yeah.
This came after To Pimp a Butterfly, which I think was almost universally, everybody thought it was a masterpiece.
Right.
And I agreed.
Yeah, right.
But this one felt like it was, it had a lot of big, huge expectations on it. And he was rising to the occasion of having gigantic expectations and bringing out this like momentous generational kind of work. And then in this throwaway record, he comes with this track that's just like so empathetic to the community around him, and feeling, and there's just like feeling the pain of all the people in the world, and it comes off completely genuine while also being like technically just like jaw dropping.
Right.
He's such a like astoundingly good rapper. It just like turned him up yet another notch in my mind.
Yeah, it's such and the production on it is so good. Like I think Thundercat might have been involved. Yeah. I want Kendrick and Thundercat. It's like you all should work together more, because this is
right.
A little bit of magic here.
Yeah, it worked very well there. Yeah,
but yeah, it is. I mean, I get why it kind of flew under the radar, considering what it was sort of in the shadow of. But this is one of my favorite Kendrick record. Maybe my favorite Kendrick. I love it so much because it's so, like you said, it's just it shows a different side of it. It's so good. All right. Are you a lyrics person? Like, do you pay attention to lyrics? Can lyrics make or break a song for you, or are they kind of an afterthought?
Yeah. Well, historically, I didn't pay attention to lyrics in the slightest for most of growing up. In fact, I remember when I heard somebody singing, a Paul Simon song one time off of Graceland or something. And I had not had any idea there even were lyrics to this song. I had only heard the musical side to it. But the thing that changed that was just getting into hip hop, where hip hop lyrics are very core to it. And I then had a very long time of like just basically writing off all lyrics that weren't hip hop lyrics, being like, why would you even attempt to do lyrics if you're not, if you're not Nas,
Right. So, okay, well, with that context, what did you what did you pick for your favorite lyrics?
So I chose the first song that managed to get me out of that mindset, the first non-hip hop song whose lyrics blew me away, and that is Monkey and Bear by Joanna Newsom.
Yeah. I mean, it's like poetry.
Which is like, it's like this parable about like exploitation and gender relations and like probably capitalism and certainly labor and like expectations around people. And she, but it's loaded with the kind of like deep internal rhymes that you would normally only find in rapping. Like I wanted to quote it: with the courage of a clown or a cur or a kite jerking tight at its tether in her dun brown gown of fur and her jerkin of swan's down and leather. It's like what Pharaoh Monch or Black Thought or Nas would be doing. They're just like every word is like intricately woven into this tapestry of like the feel of the language dripping off the tongue.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many lines. That's such a good line. But yeah, I'm a huge Joanna Newsom fan. Like we need a new Joanna Newsom record so bad.
Man, it's been like a decade or something at this point.
Yeah, and I feel like she keeps teasing it too, because she's playing new songs live,
but not releasing. Yeah.
It's probably out there.
I think she might be my favorite artist of the 21st century, but it's been a while since she put anything out. So.
This is this is like her at the height of her powers too. I feel like it's because it's such a she had the song it's this sort of devastating thing about being damaged by these systems that shape you. But I also love how when she tells these stories and sings these songs, like she never judges her characters. There's like it's just all pure empathy and like I don't know, it's just like heart-wrenching and beautiful and like hiding enormous truths in fairy tales or something.
Absolutely. And that one on that record, Ease, it's really like the songs are so long and like winding that it almost was like not till the fifth time through that I like was able to identify what the story was, but it just kept getting richer and richer to me.
Yeah. Oh man, what a record. What's the last song you completely fell in love with?
It is My Bestie and My BFF by Vivien Goldman.
Yeah, this is new to me. I'd never heard this.
And nice. I think great. A lot of people have not. She's if you know of her at all, it's probably as a journalist, because she covered a lot of like post-punk and stuff back in the day. And she did make some tracks back then too, which some of which had some traction at the time, but she recorded a whole new record a couple of years ago, and this just had a real nice I just really liked the vibe of it.
It just feels good. I don't know, there's something about it, and I really like the production too. The bass line's really good. I had got to go listen to the whole record because I had no idea this existed. And yes, I knew her as like a journalist. I didn't realize that she'd actually made any tracks like back in the day either. So,
you can find a comp of like all the things she ever made from like for like the entire 80s. That's like 8 songs or something like that.
Wow.
But this new, I feel like she just brings that kind of like bubbly, like proud to be like a bubbly, happy old lady kind of energy to it. And it's like very, just very optimistic and sunny. And, I feel like I could use that.
Right. Yeah, I need bubbly, happy old ladies in my life. I mean, don't we all?
Yeah.
What is the sexiest song?
The Line by D'Angelo, which is just like pure sex.
Yeah, pretty much. A lot of babies have been conceived to this.
I am sure. Yes. Lots.
Yeah. I mean, Voodoo is such an absurdly great. I mean, it's one of the best records of the last, 30, 40 years, whenever. I don't know. Oh, God.
Yeah, definitely. It's uncanny. It's in its own category. Nothing else is like it.
Yeah. And yeah, I was so bummed when he when he died, and it's like D'Angelo was always kind of out of the spotlight, it seemed like, because I remember, it's like he didn't have a record for a decade or something, and then one day it was like, got a new record, it's here, and it was amazing, and it was it's like, I like when he would pop up with new music, not when it's news of his death.
I almost picked one of his songs for most romantic song too, and then I was like, I really can't have two songs by the same artist on this list,
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of songs that for either of those categories, like for this or the most romantic, it could just be D'Angelo. There we go. Again.
Yeah, it's something you can just completely disappear into in whatever that situation is. Yeah.
All right. Well, what is the song that means the most to you? Not necessarily because of the song itself, because of you associate with something or someone or an experience, etc.
I picked "You're the One for Me" by D Train, which is a pretty deep cut. I think a lot of people probably don't know this track.
It's romantic and funky. I mean, it's a good combo. Speaking of
romantic and funky, it is, and it's. I first heard it on a mix that Grandmaster Flash made. That was full of like this kind of era of like late 70s, early 80s kind of synth, like not like slightly post disco, like roller skate funk stuff that was just became my soundtrack for a long time. I associate it specifically with my wife, Lydia, because once there was an extended period of time where she had this earworm in her head, but she couldn't remember what it was. And on this song, he continually does this one motif that's like, you're not the same. I don't know. There's this one little motif, and she kept being like, Walker, what's that one song where it's like, na na na, and it was such a tiny little scrap that like nobody could possibly identify a song from it.
Right.
That was the only part she could fully remember in her head. And so when it finally came back on, when I had it in some get down playlist, I was like, there it is. So it's
that's amazing.
Whenever it comes on now, we both look at each other. We're like, nah, nah, nah.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a great track. It's I love all this. I love all the synth stuff on it. Like I feel like I appreciate stuff like this more now, or in a different way now, because like I'm a nerd, but but it doesn't take away just for like, it's just a fucking groove, and it's great.
It is a groove. It is like, and it's got like sort of like with the Parliament song. It's got like distinct different parts that kind of like it's like through composed, the whole
yes,
it's a bop throughout.
Yes. All right, well, last song, everyone, maybe this is always the answer, or maybe it changes, but as of this moment in time, what is your favorite song?
So impossible of a question to ask to answer, but I picked the only possible answer. Rainbow Connection by Kermit the Frog.
I mean, the Muppets are a national treasure, so
yeah, I think this song is just like, I kind of like with the Crash Test Dummies. It's probably thought of mostly as a novelty, but when you listen to it intently, you'll realize how much craft goes into it and how much it brings. It's really like, and I mean, I guess it's resonant with the Vivien Goldman song too, of just like sort of having a positive outlook on the future, even though things might be looking kind of dark. And that's a thing that we all kind of need, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I never would have guessed this. I would have figured was your first song you remember. So
I was trying to throw you off a little bit too.
It worked.
Game.
It worked. No, I love it. I love the Muppets, and yeah. Well, awesome. Well, this is a lot of fun. Thank you for doing this. So the album's out, I guess next week as we record this. Are you guys doing a solstice show?
There's going to be a show for the I think it's Equinox if it's spring.
Oh yeah, I guess it's Equinox. Yeah,
I'm gonna play some stuff from the record, and then Tony is actually gonna support me there, and then our friend Sarah Louise has got a little ensemble she's playing with there as well.
Nice.
So that's gonna be next Thursday the 19th. I don't know when your episode.
This may not be out so by then. So hopefully if you wanted to go, you were there and you enjoyed it. And, anything else you want to plug?
Not really. The show and the album, and
everybody go buy the album and the wine, I guess.
And the wine, yeah. I think there's going to be like a box with you can get the cassette and the wine as a package duo for all your senses.
Amazing. There you go. Once again, thank you to Walker Farrell for taking time out of his busy schedule and talking a bunch of cool music and putting out a cool record and all those things. So Crocus out now on Ceremony of Seasons. You can listen to his picks at the link in the show notes to the playlist, all that stuff. As ever, I appreciate you all listening. Go ahead and leave a rating, review, subscribe wherever you listen to podcast, all that stuff. Fight the algorithm in Songs of Our Lives' favor. How about that? Or you can just go to patreon.com/Foxy Digitalis and sign up for a few bucks a month, and you get the episodes early. They're longer with more conversation, and they don't have ads. So all wins, right? But regardless, just thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. And until next time, keep on listening to whatever the hell you want.